bench or start Jordan Clarkson. Where do you come down on this? Because I think it's an interesting conversation in that Jordan Clarkson made his name in this league, really in a Jazz uniform, as a sixth man. And Jake, in your opinion, and I think we differ on this, but in your opinion, has he been successful as a starter?
I mean, somewhat. I wouldn't say he's been a rousing success. I think that he's been good for where this team is at, but if this was a championship caliber team, he's not been good via that standard. I think that he's been serviceable. I would tell you that Jordan's best use is still as a six man coming off the bench, but on his good nights, like, the other night against the Clippers, the three ball was going in. So the transition threes he made, some of the plays he made, like he looked good the other night. But there are some nights where, he takes some ill-advised shots. He does some things that you don't love. He won't make the corner pass when it's necessary. There are some things he does that just are not great. So to me, has he been successful as a starter on this team? Yeah, I think it's been relatively successful. But in the bigger picture with where they're going, no, I don't think Jordan Clarkson starting is a long-term solution at all.
I think Jordan Clarkson starting is not a long-term solution. I look at, the way that, again, that he cut his teeth on the Jazz was being a six-man, and I think it's one of the things this team misses. And I think the return, and from what I understand, Mike Conley's coming along nicely. Rudy Gay should be back shortly as well, but the return of Mike Conley offers an opportunity. But here's the question. Can you start Conley and Sexton on the same floor?
I think you can. I think that you can, because Conley brings enough leadership to keep things organized. The problem with JC and Sexton at the same time is they're both guys who run around with their hair on fire, and they're not thinking about the bigger picture and running offense. So Conley and Sexton, I think, do work together. Conley has to initiate offense. Like, as we were talking about on the show yesterday, the one thing I really like about Mike Conley is he typically will get you into your offense anywhere between 17 and 15, 14 seconds left on the shot clock, which by NBA standards is pretty good. That usually means you're going to get a shot off by 4 or 5 seconds left on the clock, which is plenty of time. So to me, yeah, I think you can run those two guys out there together. But again, Colin Sexton continues to be a project. You got to continue to develop him.
Well, who are even your options, right? So Mike Conley's your starting one.
Yeah.
Who's your starting two? I mean, is Nickeil Alexander-Walker a guy that you can say, yeah, I want to start him?
No.
No, probably not. And if you look at, your other guards, THT, is he a guy, Talon Horton-Tucker, you would start?
Meh.
I don't think on the regular, I don't think you would. I think your only other option here is Colin Sexton or Jordan Clarkson.
Let me pose this question, though, because I think it's really fascinating inside this conversation. As far as starting JC. So if you start JC, but you take him off the floor, kind of like what Quinn did with Rudy some nights, you're going to start Clarkson, but you're going to take him off the floor, 7 minutes into the game, right? Halfway through the first quarter. And then you won't bring him back till halfway through the second. And then in that window, you're going to play, your NAWs, your THTs, your Colin Sextons. That, to me, is just as effective as bringing Clarkson off the bench and starting one of these guys.
Is it, though? I think that Jordan Clarkson's a guy that is going to play 30 minutes a night no matter what. 30
Correct.
plus,
yeah,
right?
He should.
Well,
yeah.
And he should, because this is also a team that, remember, you're a bunch of guards and you're a bunch of center fours. You have no three on this team.
Facts.
Right? You don't have that wing player that we always talk about.
Right, correct.
That, in my opinion, is what the real issue with Jordan Clarkson is. He's not a 1 or a 2, and he's not a 3.
Mm-hmm.
He is, on this team, purely a 2. So you have to have a higher basketball IQ at the 1, which is what worries me about Colin Sexton. I think he's evolving in that light.
Yep.
I think we've clearly seen him develop, right? We've clearly seen Colin Sexton develop into an on-the-ball point guard. And his basketball IQ has gone up because he's learned. My question is, can Conley and Sexton start together? And I just don't love that. And I think the answer on this Jordan Clarkson thing is there's no other option but to start him at the 2. I don't love it. I would much rather have him be the guy that comes in at 6-7 minutes into the game.
Yeah.
play him the rest of the first half, bring him in. Like I would much rather see him in that role. But you don't have another option on this team. And this, again, goes back to, do we make trades? Do we not make trades? And everybody's like, hey, we got to keep this core together. I'm telling you right now, if you're not going to get a dynamic 2-3 guy, you're just going to be what you are.
Yeah.
You need a guy that can be that 2-3 combo and who can score from the wing. You need the Book, the Tatum. You need that body. You need that skill set. And you don't have that. And so when you don't have that and you don't have an alpha male, you're going to struggle in the order that the Jazz are struggling in. Because, again, not to point fingers, but a guy like a Lauri Markkanen is not a number one.
Facts.
And you don't have a number one on this team.
And people don't like that either, by the way.
Well, and I understand why people don't like that. Yeah. I'm sure you don't. But when look at their front court. You look at a guy like Olynyk, Walker Kessler, Udoka Azubuike. Is there a starting NBA center in that group? There's not. There is not. Like, with all due respect to KO, he's not a starting center in this league.
Right, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You look at the power forwards you're running out there, you should be playing Lauri Markkanen at the 4. That's where you should be playing him. But you're not. You're playing Vando. Guys like Rudy Gay, when he's healthy, is a 4 on this team. He's not a 2-3 guy. Not anymore, not in his career. And so now you go down the list a little bit, and it's like, all right, well, what about Fontecchio? That's a guy that you think should develop into more minutes, but he hasn't.
Yeah.
So you don't have it there. And then right now you're playing Lauri Markkanen and guys like THT at the 3 when neither one of them is a 3. THT is probably a 2. And on his best days, he's a 2. And Lauri Markkanen's a power forward. So you have this hole in your roster. And last year you were super guard heavy. And what if you make a deal and you bring in a dynamic 2-3 combo guy? What if you bring in a 3-4 combo guy? And when I say 3-4, a guy that can play either one of those, but is a 3. Right? Because look at Bojan Bogdanovic was a 3-4 combo guy and he wasn't either one.
Right.
Because he just isn't athletic enough, right? You just don't have that body on your roster right now.
Yeah, I guess we differ a little bit on Conley and Sexton together. I think that can work. I just think that you have to take that with a grain of salt, meaning Colin Sexton is still going to make mistakes. Like part of growing his basketball IQ is saying, okay, hey, you're going to start the game with Mike out there, and then we're going to sub JC for Mike, and then you're going to be the one, and I want you to initiate the offense, and I want you to get those reps, because I'm telling you, like, this is, on the show I say a lot, hey, pay attention to the game within the game. Like, obviously they're trying to win every game, but what I'm talking about is, how does Colin Sexton go about initiating offense? How does Colin Sexton go about balancing defensive intensity when Mike is out there versus when he's on the ball number 1, right? Like, these are little things that Colin Sexton has to balance and has to monitor and has to be aware of. So to me, my mentality would be, and I guess this is maybe where the difference is, this is kind of a philosophical thing, I think guys just need reps on this team right now. I know that I'm not trading Markkanen or Sexton. Those two guys are going to be the guys that I am probably, air quotes, building around, if you will, for now. Right? So, like, to me, I'm okay taking the beating on Colin Sexton a little bit. I need him to make those mistakes so I can have more Will Hardy and Colin Sexton arguing on the bench moments.
But that has to happen now.
Yes,
like that has to happen now.
So,
it can't happen in the second half and into next year.
So to bring this back to the question, hey, should JC still start or should he come off the bench, or what should they do about that? I'd bring him off the bench. I would run Sexton and Conley out there to start games, sub Mike out for JC, and give Colin those reps. I would do that. But again, it's a philosophical thing. Like, they obviously have a plan.
Very much. It's philosophical. I agree with that. All right, let's see. You always, dude, Tanner, there is no evidence. You started this. Arlington Bear says, Monty, I do work for myself and sitting here doing the damn dishes right now. Exactly right, Carl.
Dude.
And you work for yourself, but doing the dishes is investing in yourself.
Here's what's going to happen, Tonto.
You know what I'm saying? Burnett says Clarkson has done well. Wouldn't matter if a starter or off the bench. I don't like him nearly as much as a starter.
Agreed.
I mean, the problem is I think Sexton and Clarkson hurt Markkanen. And I think the high volume shooting that you get from those two guys hurts Lauri Markkanen.
Yeah, but I think it's also Markkanen hurts himself. Markkanen is not command the ball guy.
He's not.
They need him to be that.
He's not. He's not at all. I would agree with that. I think, yeah. I don't know. I think it's an interesting argument. Absolutely, it's an interesting argument. Brett Burnett says Conley back is important. Better to have Sexton come in off the bench, bro. A starter doesn't matter. Just want him fresh and crushing it. Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
But you see what I mean? Like I think that's that's kind of the perfect point. Like you can go about this so many different ways, and I'm saying that's how I would go about it. I would start Colin Sexton because he is the future. Bring JC off the bench, keep him fresh, keep him healthy, keep him as a valuable trade asset. Like that's how I go about it. But again, I can see where Brent's coming from.
Yeah, I think this is going to be an eternal question. As long as he's wearing the note, you're going to be wondering, should Clarkson start or be a sixth man?
Yep.
And I understand why they're starting him. I truly do. I don't even have that much problem with him. You know, like is what it is. Let's see. Man, you guys on this are crazy. Alex Chacon says, keep Sexton starting. It would be a small backcourt again, but Colin is really getting his legs back under him. I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that 100%. I don't think there's any doubt he's getting his legs under him. I like that a lot, actually. I like his development. I think that's really important. That he continues to grow. I just think that's not optional.
Yeah.
For this team. Neville says start Sexton so he can develop faster and get the hang of being a starter. Keep Clarkson on too, but I don't know about the Vanderbilt. They should put Beasley. The problem is Jared Vanderbilt's also a limited guy. You're not playing Beasley and Vanderbilt in the same spot.
Well, but consider size too. You can't have Conley, Sexton, and Beasley on the floor together for prolonged amounts of time. Like you got to have some size out there, man.
Yeah, Will Hardy drives me crazy right now. He's evolving as a coach too.
No doubt about it.
He's evolving as a coach. I don't think it's something where, yeah. I don't know. By the way, Jazz and Pacers tonight. Jazz are -4. There is no number on that game. It's really odd.
Vegas likes them some Jazz, dude.
They do, but it's really odd. Like ESPN uses Caesars, and there's no number. There's no over/under. So, Jake, why don't you look that up real quick?
Yeah, I'm pulling it up.
But the Jazz are -4 tonight. And you're right. The Vegas does love them absolutely loves them, some Utah Jazz. Which is interesting. No, tonight. I need to, See, you guys, when it snows and we're late, things fall through the cracks.
238.5.
238?
Yeah. Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
What is that? 118 points? That's crazy.
It's in that neighborhood, yeah. Let's see.
And the Jazz are -4.
119.
That's insanity. 238.5 on that game.
Yeah. How
does that compute? That's shocking to me.
I think what they're counting on is Miles Turner having 30.
Yeah, they must. Is that a guy you would trade for, Miles Turner?
Not worth where the Jazz are right now. I mean, if I was another team, absolutely. I think Miles Turner can be a high impact player. I think he could be. Provided he's got a point guard to work with in the pick and roll who's capable of lobbing to him, yeah, I think he could be a problem. I think that Miles Turner it has the toughness and the grittiness to play in the East if he wanted to. Obviously, he plays there now, but when I say the East, like a Boston or like a Nets or like a contender, he's got the grit to kind of put you over the top as a title contender. But I also think in the West there are opportunities. I look at any of those teams that are trying to get better. You look at it's funny. You look at the Lakers right now, and they kind of need to figure out this AD thing. Like I wouldn't mind putting a package of 3-teamer together that got the Lakers Miles Turner. I wouldn't mind that at all. I think that there are a lot of options, but for the Jazz, Miles Turner is just too high of a cost with where you're at right now. You're not ready for that.
I think that this is just a year where wins and losses really shouldn't be that significant.
Yeah.
I mean, I think if we're talking about development of players, developing of Will Hardy is huge. I mean, I think anyway. And by the way, I think the Pacers are very good. Not very good. The Pacers are good. I think the Pacers are a playoff team. And that's why I'm not surprised they haven't traded Miles Turner yet. Because I think he and Buddy Hield are still big contributors for them. But,
yeah, I mean the team changed when you did the Brogdon trade, and obviously the Halliburton Sabonis trade was definitely a fundamental change,
transformative.
Yeah.
To get Tyrese Halliburton, and they went to Sacramento and died the other night. But I think a lot of teams are going to do that this year. But if you look at a guy like I'm a huge fan of Jalen Smith. I think it's really interesting that he just was not a contributor for the Jazz.
Yeah.
But he's gotten the opportunity now to play heavier minutes. And, that you're getting 22 points on 19 minutes from him against Sacramento is really a big spurt of growth for him.
22 minutes on 19 or 22 points on 19 minutes is damn good.
Yeah, but you get 28 minutes out of Turner the other night, 4 points, 6 boards, 0 of 3 from 3. That's not good. But that team's a handful. That team is a handful, and it'll be interesting to see how this game plays out, because I don't know that Miles Turner has a real good matchup in this game, but will they use Miles Turner the way that Billy and the Bulls used Drummond the other night?
Yeah, they will. I think Turner has a big night against this team.
The problem is I don't think Doak has a place in this game for the Jazz, though.
No.
I mean, you're going to have to play.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's why the over-under is so high. That's why the over-under is at 238, because Turner's going to have 30 in this game.
You think he has 30 in this game?
Yeah, I think he dominates them. Yeah.
I don't know. It's going to be, he's a tough guard for the Jazz.
Vanderbilt's too small. Kessler is tall but too slight, and Azubuike's too young and not capable.
By the way, I made a call to the league office last night. Me and Sylvie were talking, and
you and Sylvie.
Yeah, Adam Silver, the commissioner of the NBA, my good buddy. We're friends.
Right, you and dude.
Hey, guys.
Yeah, we've never talked.
Right.
But I did chew his ass out because there was only one game last night. It was Pistons and Mavs.
Embarrassing, dude.
One game on a Thursday night.
Caleb's probably sitting there like, yeah, that was a great game.
Yeah, best team in the NBA.
Yeah,
Detroit
Pistons. Best team.
But tonight, by the way, just real quick, because I know we got to get to football at 50. Bulls, Warriors in San Francisco. Huge game.
Where's your boy playing? What are you strengthening your forearm to tonight?
Well, they're playing the Rockets at home. The Suns and Rockets.
Uh-huh.
That game is in Phoenix. Bucks Lakers in Milwaukee.
Chris Middleton makes his debut tonight.
Yeah, I'm going to miss it all because we're going to be at my wife wants to go and play pool and watch the game. Mrs. Monty wants to go out and play pool and watch the game. Are you here for that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have plans tonight, so yeah, I guess I am here.
Well, I mean, you're going to grace us with your. Well, I don't have plans. I mean, I guess I can hang out with you guys.